Bebeur mafsidei hazrizut veharchaka mehem. So again, it's the same pattern. First, he talks about what the midah is. Then he talks about the details. First, he speaks about it in a general way. Then he speaks about the details. Then he speaks about how to acquire it. And then he speaks about how to maintain it so you don't lose it. There is no book of Musar like this. It is the only one that is a manual that tells you what it is, details. Then it'll tell you how important it is. Then he'll tell you how to get it and how to keep it. Because before you can move to the next level, you have to be able to keep what you've already done. It's a ladder. So when you climb the first rung, you then go to the second rung. If the first rung is rickety, what happens? You fall. So maintaining the level is as important, if not more important, than acquiring it. And that's the only way the person can continue to rise up on the ladder. Okay? Hine mafsidei azrizut hem magdilei ha'atzla. So, who are the people who lose the trait of alacrity? People who are lazy, which means someone who was eager at first and then becomes lazy. V'hagadol shebekulam hu bakashat hamenucha hagufit. And the worst of all is when the person is looking for bodily rest. V'sinat hatorach, and hating to toil, hating to expend energy. The ahavat idunim, and the love of the pleasures of life. B'tashlum kol tenaehem, and going for the pleasures as much as possible. Ki hine adam kazeh vadai shetichbad alav ha'avodah lifnei boro koved gadol. Clearly a person who is lazy, who always wants to be resting and sleeping, who hates to toil and to work hard, who loves the pleasures of life, this is a person that's going to have a very hard time being an observant Jew. This is a person that's going to have a hard time having a relationship with God. From an action point of view, remember, he already talked about the inaction, which means doing something that you're not allowed. Here, to do something that you're supposed to do, all these things prevent people from doing the things they're supposed to do. A person who wants to eat his meals in total tranquility with ease, which means he has everything has to be a certain way, and this and that, and has to be the right condition, the temperature has to be right, the fork and the knife and the whole thing exactly it's supposed to be, and he has to be in a rested state. And he sleeps without worry, and he walks only a little bit of slow way. He doesn't walk a lot, doesn't walk fast, like these kind of things. It will be difficult for him to wake up and to go to shul in the morning. Or it will be difficult for him to stop eating his afternoon meal so he can go pray mincha in the Bet Knesset. Or he's not going to want to go do a mitzvah. Unless it's going to be very, very clear. And even more so, how much more is going to be difficult? A dvar mitzvah, something he has to do, something that he sort of doesn't have to do, to run after it, or to learn Torah. He's not going to run to go learn Torah. I got better things to do with my time right now. I learned yesterday. Why do I have to learn again today? Whoever becomes accustomed in these types of behaviors, he's not going to be a master of himself in order to be able to do what he needs to do. Because he's already locked in his habitual behavior that has become second nature to him. The omnam tzarich sheyada ha'adam ki lo limnucha hu ba'olam hazeh el lamal v'torach. The first thing a person has to recognize that the person is not put in this world for rest and relaxation. He's put in this world to toil and to exert themselves. V'lo yinhag be'atzmo ela minhag ha'po'alim ha'osim melacha. And he has to conduct himself like a laborer does for his employer when he's working. Like the day laborer, a person who's hired for the day, he gets paid when he does the work. If he doesn't do the work, he doesn't get paid the same. Like what it says, we are day laborers, which means a person has to view himself vis-a-vis his relationship with God like he's a day laborer, which means he's hired for the day. Which means whether he's going to have a job tomorrow night, he doesn't know, but he's hired for the day. He has to do the job to the maximum ability, because otherwise, who knows if there's going to be a job tomorrow. Or like people who go out into war, when a person goes to war, what happens? He's not sitting there with a couch, resting and eating, having glasses of wine and champagne. He's eating quickly because he doesn't know when he's going to have to pick up his gun and start to defend himself. Ushnatamarai, and sleep. What, he takes a nice long sleep and sleeps deeply? Absolutely not. He's got to be watching for the enemy at all the times. He's not going to be able to have a deep sleep. He's going to have only temporary sleep. V'omdim tamid muchanin la'et krav, and he's always ready to go to battle, which means he's never in a relaxed state. And this is what it says in Iyov, Ki Adam la'amal yulad. The person is born to toil. And when a person recognizes that is the way it's supposed to be, he finds it's going to be easy. He understands he has to work hard. Okay, I have to work hard. I got to do what I got to do. And he's not going to be lacking any preparation or readiness because he always has to be ready. He's almost ready to go. And by this way, our rabbis taught us, Kachi darka shel Torah. This is the way of the Torah. Pat b'melach tochal. Eat bread with salt, not with techina and hummus and baba ganoush and all that kind of stuff. Bread with salt. Umayim b'misura tishteh, and drink water in small measures. V'al ha'aretz tishan, and sleep upon the ground. Shehu klal harchaka b'tachlit min ha'menuchot v'aidunim. Again, it's not saying a person has to sleep on the ground and sleep on the bed, but it should understand that the more a person indulges themselves in the pleasure and the fine things and the relaxing in life, the more he's going to have trouble with this midah of alacrity. Od mi mafsideh hazrizutu. There's another category of people that lose the eagerness. Rov ha'pachad v'gol ha'mora min hazman v'toldotav. Is excessive fear and trepidation regarding what the future may bring. We call this in our day today anxiety. Because sometimes he's afraid it's going to be cold, and sometimes he's afraid it's going to be hot. And sometimes he's afraid because of other types of damages. And sometimes he's afraid of sickness. And sometimes he's afraid of the wind. Like all these things. This is what Shlomo Melech said. Amar atzel shachal badarech ari ben harchovot. The lazy man says, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the street, so therefore he doesn't go out of the house because there's a lion outside. But he's just saying it. There's no lion outside. And we see the sages, our rabbis, already connected this midah to the sinners. Again, I'm not talking about someone who has an anxiety disorder, that he's really has anxiety. That's different. I'm talking about someone who's just always nervous about things that really are not necessary to be nervous. And most of the time it's because they're very, very particular. That particularness is exactly what he's talking about. Umikra misayam, and we have a pasuk that says that tichtiv Pachadu b'tzion hatta'im ahazar re'ada hanefim. The sinners in Zion are frightened. Trembling has taken hold of the sinners. Ad she'amar echad mina gedolim el tamido biroto oto mitpached, until when one of the great men saw a student of his that was always afraid. Chata'at, you must be a sinner. This is Masechet Brachot. Ela al zeh ne'emar betach b'Hashem v'aseh shechon haaretz ureh emunah. A person should what? Should have trust in God. If a person has bitachon, a person has trust in God, he's not going to be so nervous all the time about what's going to happen because he trusts that God has his best interest in mind. Klalo shel davar, general principle and summary. Tzarich shiasim ha'adam et atzmo aray ba'olam v'kavua ba'avodah. A person should put himself as a incidental or temporary in this world, but firmly established in his divine service, which means his avodah is the most important thing. His service to God is the most important thing. That he is satisfied, she is satisfied with whatever they happen to have. They're not always looking for more. And he only takes what comes to him, which means this is very anti-capitalism here. Not go get, but be just ready to receive what is coming to you. That doesn't mean be lazy and don't go to work, but it means don't have the attitude, the more I do, the more I do. No, it's in Hashem's hands. V'yerachok min haminucha. And he should be far away from the resting, v'karov la'melacha v'la'amal, and closer to the work and to the toil. V'yeh nachon libo batuach b'Hashem, and he should rely on Hashem. He should have faith and rely on Hashem. V'lo yira mitoldot hazman u'pega'av, and be free of the fear of the different things that happen in life, which means nothing rocks his boat. Everything is okay because God is in charge. Like I know someone who has that on their WhatsApp. Don't have any fear because God is in charge. Shema Tomar, maybe you want to say, Hare matzinu shechyivu chachamim b'chol makom shishmor adam et atzmo shmira me'ula v'lo yasim atzmo b'sakana. But we see there's a conflict here, a potential conflict. That we see the chachamim told us everywhere that we have to protect ourselves. We have to be very, very cautious with our body, not to fall into a situation of danger. Even if he's a tzaddik, which means a tzaddik shouldn't put himself in a situation of danger just because he has credits in the bank of Shamayim. Everything is in the hands of heaven except for colds and fevers, which means a person has to do what they can to avoid getting sick. Umikra katuv, and it also is a pasuk written, v'nishmartem me'oda nafshotechem. A person has to be very, very careful with his neshama, to be very, very careful with his health. Harei she'en la'achlit ha'bitachon hazeh al kol panim. Basically what? That this trust is not an absolute rule, which means a person has to do things in order to get a proper amount of rest, eat a proper amount. We're not saying a person should avoid and make themselves suffer so they get sick. That's not what the Torah is looking for. But it's looking to avoid the person to be so particular about everything. Even when performing a mitzvah, which means even when a person is performing a mitzvah, you should also be very, very careful about your health to make sure that even though you're doing the mitzvah, that you're careful. We have a concept that as some shluchei mitzvah enon nizakin, that people who go to perform a mitzvah don't get in danger, but that's only when you're doing the mitzvah. What about when you stop it? Then you can be in danger. So don't put yourself in a situation what's potentially dangerous. Da ki yesh yirah v'yesh yirah. There's two kinds of fear. There's fear and there's fear. Yesh yirah re'uya v'yesh yirah shota. There's a good type of yirah and there's a fool's type of yirah. V'yesh bitachon v'yesh holelut. There is a person who trusts God, and then there's someone who's an idiot, a moron. Ki hineha Adon Baruch Hu asay et adam bal sechel. God created man with intelligence. Nachon usvara nechocha, with good intelligence and proper logic. L'sheinhag atzmo al derech tov, that the person should be able to find the right way to go. V'yishameh min hadvarim hamazikin asher nivreu la'anosh et harashaim, and he should avoid doing things and falling into situations that are potentially going to result in him getting sick, that God uses sometimes to punish the wicked. Should avoid these harmful things. A person who does not want to be smart about how they live their life, and he allows themselves to come into situation, exposes to situation of danger. This is not bitachon. This is holelut. This is stupidity. This is folly. And he's also a sinner because he's going against God's will. That he's going against the will of God. Because God wants the person to guard himself and watch himself. Not only the danger that he's going to find inside the particular thing, that God forbid he's going to come into that danger because he's not being careful with himself. He's also guilty practically of suicide. With action. And the sin that he's doing. And this sin will cause him to become. So a person has to have a balance. That's really what he's getting at. The person has to have a balance. And it's tricky because the Yetzer Hara finds all kinds of ways to get you to think that you should rest more and do more. A person has to find the proper balance. A person shouldn't be so tired that he's falling asleep when he's driving. That's not good. That's putting yourself into a dangerous situation. But a person doesn't have to sleep 10 hours a night, so he feels great when he wakes up in the morning, refreshed. It should be that there's a proper amount of sleep. And the Rambam talks about what's considered to be a proper amount of sleep and all that kind of stuff. The ulama shmira hazot, this type of watchfulness, v'zot hayira hamiyusedet al hanhagat hachuma v'sechel, which is based on the guidance of wisdom and of the person's intelligence. Hi hareuya. This is what's appropriate. Shaleh ne'emar, this is what it says. Arum ra'a ra'av v'nistau uftaim avru v'ne'enashu. The prudent man sees danger and takes refuge, but the imprudent keeps going and are punished. Ach hayirah hashotahu, the foolish fear, the foolish yirah, sheyeh adam rotzeh la'osif shmirot al shmirot v'yirah al yirah. The person wants to have protection on protection and fear on top of fear. The oseh mishmeret lemishmarto, and he basically puts one safeguard on another safeguard. And what happens is because he's so careful all the time about what he's doing that he doesn't learn, he doesn't do the mitzvot. So how does a person make a determination internally between which is a proper yirah and which is an improper one? This is what the rabbis spoke about when they said, when there is likely danger, that is different. Which means when there's likely danger, a person has to avoid that. Where there is potential danger, a person has to be careful. But in a place where there's no danger, a person shouldn't be afraid. And by this it says, we do not presume that something is unsound unless we see it to be so, which means a person doesn't have to walk into a building and think it's going to fall down. Doesn't have to walk into a building like that. But if he walks into a building and he sees the walls shaking, he shouldn't walk into the building because then it looks like it's going to fall down. And a smart person only has what his eyes see, but you have to open your eyes. You have to have your eyes open. This is regarding the pasuk we brought earlier. Arum ra'a ra'a v'nistar. The prudent man sees danger and takes refuge. Ha'eno medaber ela b'nistar. This is talking about someone who hides from the danger that he sees. Min hara'a asher ro'eh. Lo mimash yuchal liyot sheyeh efshari l'she'avo. But he doesn't hide from anything that could happen. He hides from dangers that is visible, not from anything that could happen. V'hu mamash inyan pasuk shizkati lemala. And this is exactly the pasuk we brought before. Amar atzel shachal badarach ari ben harochovot. He thinks there's a lion outside when he's in the middle of North Woodmere. The Chachamim Zichronam Liracha, and our rabbis explained Pershu Ha'inyan B'Kimin Chomer Laharot Ad Hechan Magat Yirat HaHevel. They explained by this passage by way of conceit, showing to what extent groundless fear can keep a man or woman from doing good deeds. La'afrisha Adam Min HaMaaseh HaTov. Amru, they said, Shiva Dvarim Amar Shlomo Be'atzel. Shlomo HaMelech said 7 things regarding a person that's lazy. Ketzad, how? Amru le'atzel, he said to the lazy person, Hare Rabbecha ba'ir lech ulmad Torah mimeno. Your rabbi is in the city, go and learn Torah from him. V'hu meshivotam, and he answers him, Mityare ani min ha'ari shebaderech. I'm afraid of the lion that might be on the way. Rabbecha betocha medina. Your rabbi is inside the not in the city, he's inside the community, inside the country. I'm afraid that when I'm going on from one city to another, there's going to be a lion there. The rabbi is inside your house. So of course there's nothing to worry about. The rabbi is inside your house. He says to them, if I go to him, I'm going to find that the door is locked. Ayen sham. Halamadata she'en hayirah shegoremet she'itatzel ela atzla goremet lo she'itareh. So he's really saying what happened is here. What's really going on is he's lazy. And he's looking for all the excuses not to do it. So he every person in this world, it says, has a PhD in rationalization. We can rationalize anything. But a person has to identify what is a real fear and what is a fear that is coming because he is lazy and not looking to do what he has to do. V'chol hadarim ha'ela hanisayon hayomi ya'id alehem mima shekvar pashutu v'ragil berov. A person, all these things can be seen by a person's daily experience. That such behavior is routine. Berov hamon b'nei adam, that common amongst many people. Asher zed darkam kesel lamo, that this is how they behave, this is how they act most of the time. Umaskil al davar yimsa emet lamito, and a person who thinks about this and thinks about this deeply will understand the truth. V'dat lenavon nakal, and knowledge comes easily to him that tries to understand. Ukvanit ba'inyan zrizut be'ur shech shov heyoto maspik leharav alev. This, what I've spoken about, this concept of alacrity, zrizut, now has been clarified in a manner that is suspicious enough that the person should be able to rise his heart up to do it. And then a smart person will add to this personally and figure out a way to make this happen, which means we'll do things with enthusiasm. And we see that really this is the step that comes after the zehirut. That's why it's the right order. Because most people are not going to be eager if they're not first watchful. The first step is to be watchful, not to do things you're not supposed to do. Then when a person is avoiding things you're not supposed to do, then you can be eager to do things that you're supposed to do, which means one step is a prerequisite for the other. A person is not going to be careful with his deeds and to consider the service that he's supposed to do in all its details. This was the first midah that we spoke about, which is the watchfulness, like I wrote, it's impossible for this guy to summon up the enthusiasm and the love of his creator to go and do the mitzvot with alacrity. No, he's falling in the trap all the time by doing things he's not supposed to do. So first he has to stop doing that. Sur mera va'aseh tov. First you have to stop doing the evil. He's already still drowning in all the bodily pleasures, this guy. And the habit he has is to be involved in all these bodily pleasures, and that's what he's accustomed to. But before, now when the person opens up his eyes, that he sees his deeds and he's careful with his actions, that he thinks about the positive and he thinks about the negative things he's doing, like we said, it's clear that the person can separate themselves from the evil and connect themselves to the good. And he will have alacrity with that, and this is very straightforward. So that's the end of the midah of the zrizut. The next one he's going to talk about, which Be'ezrat Hashem will do next week, is going to talk about nikiyut, which is blamelessness, which is another level on top of the zehirut. And this is how he builds it. Just to understand these 10 levels, the way to divide them is divided into 3, 3, and 3. The first 3 levels, which is basically the zehirut, which is the watchfulness, the zrizut, which is the alacrity, and then the nikiyut, which he says is blamelessness, which we'll talk about next week. When a person is able to achieve these 3 levels, he's called a tzaddik. Tzaddik. When a person can get through the next 3 levels, the next is the prishut, and then he does the tahara, and then he does the chasidut. If he can get to the next 3 levels, then he's called a chasid. He's called a pious person. And then if the person can achieve the next 3 levels, which is which is the anava, the humility. Then there is the yirat chet, which is avoidance. It's not avoidance of sin like the first one. It's something else. It's closeness to God, and relationship is so close that you don't want to spoil it, and to have awe of Hashem to such a level. And then the highest level is the Kiddusha. When a person has those 3 levels, he's called a Kadosh. So through this book, the person starts off, hopefully he becomes a Tzaddik, then becomes a Chassid, and then becomes a Kadosh. And the last level, which is the 10th level, is Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration, which is, of course, the first level of prophecy.
You would be a Navi if you would be at that point?
There's no prophets today because of our situation, but if a person is able to achieve the levels of this book, all 10 of them, then he's worthy to have Ruach HaKodesh. And then he continues on and said the next level after that is Tichiyat HaMetim, which means he has the ability to resurrect the dead. You'll see these 2 levels, if you can think about how much work it is for these 2 levels, it's a lot. The next one is even more. Each one is even more. But to get an understanding of what he's talking about, and you see all of this is basically character development. It's all working on the midot, it's working on the person's attributes, how he deals, how in relationship with God and with other people. This is the amazing in this book. It's perfect for the holidays, high holidays. Any questions?
No.
Baruch Adonai Olam, amen ve'amen.